Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and before I even jump into this video, this is probably going to be a short, simple, and sweet one because the first time I recorded like a 10-minute commentary on my whole opinion about the stock market, was very happy with everything that I said. I felt like I said everything perfectly, and then I realized that the mic was muted, and then I recorded a second time and realized that I had the mic unmuted, but the recording program was not even open. So this is my third time recording a full commentary. So if you do appreciate these updates and the effort that I put out to upload these videos, I would really appreciate it if you dropped a like, smash that like button. It definitely helps me out, and it also gets my videos recommended to newer viewers out there. And if we are able to grow this community to a significant amount to where we have a lot of activity, then I may create a Discord where we can all discuss our thoughts and opinions about the market and the moves that we are making live time. Sorry for all that nonsense in the beginning of the video, but it's super unfortunate that I had to record this for a third time. But anyways, jumping right into this, as you can see with VOO currently, we are at a minus 2.66% loss for today. VOO pretty much mirrors the S&P 500, and I would consider it like a mirror of the general stock market trend, and minus 2.66% is definitely something to take serious. I would even consider that a stock market crash, sort of like a mini stock market crash. So we definitely had a significant move downwards today, and as you can see, I'm at about an $1,800 loss today for my portfolio. As you can see, it actually started out like a normal stock market day and pretty much continued with that pattern until we hit about the 1:25 p.m. marker, in which it was very volatile of like the back and forth between positive and negative gains and losses. And then of course at 2:55 p.m. that's when we had that significant move downwards, which pretty much continued on until the end of the day. So today was definitely an unfortunate day in the stock market, and it does make me wonder, is this the start of a recession, or is this going to continue on through the rest of the week and the next week's coming up? And obviously I hope that this isn't the case, but I would like to mention that none of us can consistently predict the market or predict what it is going to do. We may be able to get it right sometimes, but the general consensus is that no person or individual can predict the market consistently, or there would simply be no point of the stock market. And that's always something to take into consideration, because if you look at my portfolio over the past 5 months or so, I remember when we had this consistent move downwards pretty much when the crash started on February 19th, pretty much the whole way down here. I had plenty of people, friends, and just random people online as well, telling me that I should sell pretty much everything before I lose even more money. But I understood the market, and I understand that buying and holding long term pretty much always works if the stocks that you have picked to invest in are high quality long-term stocks. So instead of listening to those people, I trusted my gut and I trusted my knowledge and held all the way throughout this whole progress chart, and also invested aggressively throughout these drops. And I bought a lot of stocks pretty much throughout this whole range right here. Most of my purchases came from when the stocks were dropping. So that's another thing as well. If you do your research and you trust the stocks that you're investing in, then it's really important to trust what you believe if you have the actual facts and can engage in logical thinking. The buy and hold strategy works because otherwise, if you try to predict the market, like I mentioned earlier, no one can consistently predict the market. The people that try to do that and sell on the way down, for one thing, they're not selling at a high point if they're already selling midway all the way down. So they've already messed it up on that part. And they've either sold their stocks and lost some money or sold them at a lesser value. And then the second part of trying to time the market is that you have to know exactly when to buy back in. So that would pretty much be that you would have to know to buy in exactly on this date on March 23rd. And if you miss that bottom, most of the time, a lot of the significant amount of gains come from pretty much the next few days after that bottom. So as you can see right here, just in one day, the stock market went up a tremendous amount from this bottom from March 23rd to March 24th. So trying to predict the market involves you having to constantly predict what the perfect peak amount would be to sell and what the exact bottom would be to buy back in at. And for me personally, that almost becomes like not even passive income anymore if you're having to constantly readjust your portfolio rather than me simply buying and holding and going on about my normal tasks every day. And I don't have to stress about anything, whether I'm going to accurately time the market or not. I simply just buy and hold. And as you can see right now, we are almost at the peak of what it was on February 19th. That was $75,000. And then today we are at $71,000. So we are already nearing that once again. And that's just an example that I like to use because investing is actually very, very simple. If you do your research, you understand how it works, and most importantly, you have patience. One of the biggest problems that I see out there with investors is that they aren't very patient and they expect to gain a lot of money in a short amount of time, and most of the time that's simply not how it works unless you want to engage in a lot of risk, and with a lot of risk comes a potentially large amount of losses as well if you do not predict it correctly. So pretty much it's very simple to invest. Simply pick stocks that you know that you can hold for the next 40 years that will pretty much gain money every single year for you, and then all of that compound interest will make you even more money. An example of a pretty solid stock like that, in my opinion, would be Microsoft and VOO. VOO averages about a 10% growth rate every single year, and it consists of some of the top companies out there, and it basically mirrors the general stock market trend, and as most of us know throughout stock market history, it always goes up in the long term. So I think this is a fantastic long-term stock where you don't have to worry about constantly trying to time the market, and then I also think stocks like Microsoft, Tesla, and Apple would be great options as well. But jumping into the losses and gains for today, as you can see, I'm at minus 2.66% for VOO today, which is minus $837. And then in total, I am at minus 9.90%, and that is at minus $3,362. And for those of you out there that are simply curious or are new to investing, you may have the question of, okay, this guy just told me that investing is actually very simple if you do research, yet he shows me his largest holding of stocks, and he's in the negative for his total return. And that's a fantastic question, and I think it's a good question, which is why I want to mention it in this video. And my reasoning for that is, I pretty much was unfortunate enough to purchase VOO pretty close to when we had this significant stock market crash. So pretty much, as you can see, on February 19th, that's when it started going down. After that, I started investing in VOO about mid-December, and then dollar cost averaged my purchases pretty much throughout these next few weeks as well. So I was unfortunate and unlucky enough to have purchased a significant amount of VOO stock right before this huge crash right here. However, the general trend of the stock market, if you take a look at the past 5 years, most of the time of the stock market is not spent being in a stock market crash or a recession. The stock market spends most of its time going up in terms of like a general trend. So as you can see, we've only had a few significant downturns with VOO, which was in 2018 on January 26th. It pretty much went down a little bit. And then on September 21st, 2018, it went down some. And then, of course, the most recent crash as well. But if you look at over the past 5 years, it's still in the positive, and it's still grown more than it is lost. So the general trend of this stock is to gain about 10% every year. And unfortunately, this recent crash is bringing down that average for the past 5 years. But that is pretty much the general trend. And the answer to your question, in short, is that I bought at an unfortunate time. But if I hold this long term, I can expect to gain money, especially with compound interest. I can expect to gain about an average of 10% every year. But next up, we have Microsoft, which I lost 3% today, which is minus $609, and we are still at a pretty solid return, 11.89% or $2,096. I'm super happy with Microsoft. I still think it's a pretty good buy right now. And then next up, we have Apple as well, in which I lost 1.72%. Which is minus $228, but we are in the positive for this one as well in terms of a total return. That is plus 8.26% or plus $992. And then we also have a nice little dividend coming up soon. And then next up, finally, we have Tesla. This is a super interesting stock, especially recently. But as you can see, it started in the pre-market at a positive of 2.28%, pretty much stayed that way and even went higher until about 3:45, in which it went under the market after that and into the negative in after hours. So it is at a minus 1.17% return for today, or minus $85. And in total, we are minus 1.18% for Tesla, which is minus $86. So in total, I'm pretty happy with Tesla so far. I know I'm still negative, but I purchased at a high point and was at like a minus 35% loss just a few weeks ago, and I was like over $2,000 in the negative on this stock. So it has performed very well for me recently, and I'm honestly happy with it. And also, I almost forgot to mention a crucial aspect about Tesla stock coming up within the next few weeks or so. It is rumored that there is going to be Battery Day on the 3rd week of May for Tesla, and I think a lot of really cool things are going to be revealed during this event. And in addition to that, I do think it will help grow the stock price even more, potentially even all-time highs if we don't have to worry about another stock market crash coming up soon. Hopefully today was just a fluke or something like that. However, you never really know with the market, but I will say if the market is decently good for the next few weeks or so, then I do think that Tesla Battery Day will have a positive influence on the stock price. And like I said, it could potentially push it past that all-time high that we had just a few months ago. But that's pretty much my gains and losses for today. Not really any gains except for Limelight Networks and Caesars Entertainment. Caesars Entertainment is actually one that I got for free. I got 2 shares of this stock for free, and I'm waiting for it to get back up to that general trend line. I would say I would sell this around $12 to $15, probably like the 12 to 13 marker more realistically. But considering the recent crash, I do have faith that this will return to this general trend line right here, and then that is when I will sell. Especially with free stocks out there, you have to analyze whether it is worth just selling immediately or whether you should hold on to it for a little bit longer, considering that it was free, and it doesn't hurt you to hold on to it just a little bit longer. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and like I mentioned earlier, please make sure to smash that like button. And speaking of free stocks, feel free to use my referral link for Robinhood and Webull down in the description below if you would like to set up an investment account and get some free stocks. It will help out both of us because we'll both get free stocks, which is a pretty nice form of passive income if you ask me, and it also helps support the channel, which I really do appreciate. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Stay safe out there. Love you guys.